British Vogue's latest move sent shockwaves through royal and fashion circles. Princess Catherine was crowned a royal icon, elevated, celebrated, untouchable. Meghan Markle was left out entirely. Insiders say the silence wasn't accidental, and jealousy is now simmering behind palace walls. Vogue's silent announcement that rocked the royal world. British Vogue didn't need a press release to make history. When its 2025 Global Style Icons list quietly went live, the message was immediate and unmistakable. Princess Catherine sat at the top. No fanfare, no debate. Just placement. And in fashion, placement is power. What stunned insiders wasn't Catherine's inclusion. It was Meghan Markle's complete absence. No footnote, no explanation, no soft disclaimer, just silence. The list featured 55 influential figures spanning fashion, music, politics, and culture. Meghan's omission wasn't an oversight in a crowded field. It was a deliberate editorial choice. In elite media, silence isn't neutral. It's authoritative. Fashion editors quickly understood what had happened. Vogue hadn't criticized Meghan. It hadn't dismissed her. It simply removed her from the conversation. And with that single move, a line was drawn. Catherine was crowned. Meghan was edited out. In the world of influence, nothing is louder than who no longer gets named. Catherine wasn't ranked, she was elevated. What separated Catherine from the rest of Vogue's list wasn't praise, it was positioning. She wasn't ranked alongside others, she wasn't compared. She was placed above competition, framed as a constant rather than a contender. Editors described her presence not as influential, but institutional. That word mattered. It signaled permanence, trust, and longevity, the kind of power that doesn't spike or fade, but endures. Catherine's style isn't loud. It doesn't chase virality or reinvention. It relies on heritage silhouettes, British designers, and restraint, choices that echo monarchy, not trend cycles. There were no interviews attached, no personal essays, just imagery and implication. That restraint itself became the message. This wasn't about hemlines or color palettes, it was about authority. Vogue didn't just highlight Catherine's fashion sense, it anointed her as fashion's royal constant, above seasons, above noise, above comparison. Meghan's omission wasn't accidental, it was strategic. In a list this carefully curated, absence is never accidental. With 55 names included, covering every major sector of global influence, Meghan Markle's omission stood out sharply. Editors don't forget figures of Meghan's visibility. They filter them out when alignment breaks. In fashion's internal hierarchy, exclusion doesn't signal irrelevance. It signals instability. Editors read it as a refusal to attach institutional credibility to a figure whose narrative feels unpredictable. Meghan's public identity has shifted repeatedly: activist, producer, podcaster, royal critic, lifestyle entrepreneur. Each role brings attention, but together they lack cohesion, and fashion relies on coherence. Vogue didn't exclude Meghan because of her clothes. It excluded her because her brand no longer offers a stable editorial anchor. In elite spaces, influence must feel anchored to something larger than self. Catherine represents continuity. Meghan represents motion. And fashion, especially at its highest levels, chooses continuity every time. Meghan reached out to Vogue, but tried to control the narrative. According to multiple industry sources, Meghan's absence wasn't due to lack of interest. She reportedly approached British Vogue in an effort to re-enter the elite editorial space, but the approach came with conditions. Requests allegedly included full photo approval, quote, sign-off, and narrative framing, a level of control common in Hollywood publicity, but deeply unwelcome in fashion journalism. Vogue protects its editorial authority fiercely. Even A-list celebrities don't dictate terms, and so the response was simple, quiet, and final. No. There was no public rejection, no drama, just disengagement. What could have been a soft return became a closed door, not slammed, but gently shut. In elite fashion, power is bestowed, not negotiated. By attempting to manage the story, Meghan undermined the very mystique fashion requires. Catherine, by contrast, offers no control at all and receives everything in return. Catherine's style moves markets. The Kate effect is economic power. Catherine's influence isn't theoretical, it's measurable. Known as the Kate effect, her fashion choices trigger immediate spikes in sales, web traffic, and global demand. Coats sell out, dresses disappear. Designers' wait lists explode, often within hours. She doesn't advertise. She doesn't collaborate. She simply appears. For brands, that reliability is priceless. Catherine's image carries zero volatility. No controversy, no polarizing statements, no brand risk. Her style is timeless, family-friendly, and institutionally aligned. That's why investors trust her, designers trust her, and Vogue trusts her. Meghan's fashion moments generate conversation, but conversation isn't conversion. Her image comes attached to shifting narratives and constant reinvention, which makes brands hesitate. In luxury fashion, consistency equals confidence. And no one embodies that more than Catherine. Vogue didn't just include her. They aligned with her. Because in 2025, Catherine isn't just wearing fashion, she's stabilizing it. Meghan's visibility grew, but her influence thinned. Meghan Markle did not disappear after stepping away from royal life. In fact, she became more visible than ever. Podcasts, interviews, speaking engagements, red carpets, streaming projects. Her presence multiplied. But in elite fashion, visibility is not value. Fashion rewards scarcity, not saturation. Editors crave mystery, not constant messaging. And Meghan's appearances increasingly came with explanations, agendas, and tightly controlled narratives. Every look required context. Every moment arrived pre-framed. Over time, that constant output diluted intrigue. The unknown vanished, and with it, editorial desire. Catherine operates differently. Her appearances are rare, intentional, and restrained. She says nothing, and therefore everything can be written about her. Each outfit becomes a moment, because it isn't one of many. As one stylist put it quietly, the more Meghan showed up, the less editors leaned in. Meghan remained visible, but her influence thinned and stretched too often across too many platforms. In fashion, that's the fastest way to lose gravity. Institutions favor Catherine because she reinforces power. Institutions don't chase disruption forever. Eventually, they seek stability, and Catherine offers exactly that. She reinforces the monarchy's image, restraint, continuity, and quiet authority. She doesn't generate crises. She doesn't require reputation management. She doesn't demand reframing. Her image arrives already aligned with the system that elevates her. For publications like Vogue, that matters. In a volatile cultural moment, Catherine represents order. Her silence creates intrigue. Her appearances feel earned, not requested. Meghan, by contrast, positions herself in opposition to institutions, questioning them, challenging them, redefining them. That creates conversation, but it also creates risk. Fashion's highest gatekeepers don't exist to fight systems. They exist to mirror and reinforce power structures. Catherine's image serves something larger than herself. Meghan's serves her own narrative. And in elite circles, service to the system wins every time. Meghan's fall from favor behind the velvet curtain. Favor is not popularity, it's trust, accumulated quietly over time. When Meghan stepped away from the royal family, she also stepped away from the institutional shield that once protected her image. Editors no longer had a structure to justify long-term investment. Without that backing, every appearance required re-evaluation. Over time, fatigue set in. Meghan had to continually prove relevance, and relevance that must be proven eventually feels forced. Meanwhile, Catherine never has to ask. She simply exists within the system that confers meaning. One editor summarized the divide succinctly. Meghan asks for access. Catherine never does. Behind closed doors, the shift was gradual but decisive. Invitations slowed. Coverage cooled. Not because of hostility, but because favor had quietly moved on. Meghan didn't lose attention. She lost gatekeeper confidence. And once that goes, velvet doors don't slam. They just stop opening. Vogue's decision wasn't emotional. It was editorial strategy. British Vogue doesn't make emotional decisions. It makes strategic ones. The publication protects its hierarchy carefully. It elevates figures who stabilize fashion's narrative, not those who constantly reframe it. Meghan's team reportedly sought a collaborative editorial role, even co-producing content. In fashion media, that's a warning sign. Vogue does not relinquish authority, even to royalty. Catherine offers the opposite. No conditions, no demands, no interference. She appears, and editors are free to interpret. That freedom is editorial gold. By crowning Catherine, Vogue wasn't chasing buzz. It was investing in long-term cultural capital, a figure who will still matter decades from now. This wasn't personal. It wasn't punitive. It was calculated alignment with permanence over performance. And once that alignment is made, fashion rarely looks back. Meghan has attention, but Catherine has institutional favor. Meghan Markle still makes headlines. She trends globally. Her name sparks endless debates online. Social media algorithms still treat her like gold. But in elite circles, the rooms where power is decided quietly and influence is measured in trust, not clicks, attention is cheap. Trust is everything, and that's where the difference lies. Institutions like Vogue, the true gatekeepers of cultural power, don't follow chaos. They invest in control. They don't just observe a trend, they help define legacy. And in 2025, they've made their decision. Catherine doesn't speak loudly, she doesn't need to. She moves within a system, amplifying its values, not questioning its foundation. Her elegance is not only visual, it's strategic. Every outfit, every appearance, every silence reinforces the strength of the monarchy. And now, fashion itself. Meghan, by contrast, speaks over the system. She reshapes narratives, reframes roles, challenges expectations, all admirable in many contexts, but not in elite editorial circles built on legacy, hierarchy, and control. Fashion isn't anti-progress, but it is anti-chaos. Catherine reflects power, Meghan seeks it. And in a world where mystique is currency, Catherine's restraint buys more influence than Meghan's exposure ever could. Editors don't ask, "Who's being talked about?" They ask, "Who can we stand behind for decades?" And right now, Catherine is that answer. She has become a vessel for continuity, a brand unto herself, beyond trend or moment. She doesn't need coverage to command presence. The system speaks for her. Meghan, meanwhile, remains in orbit, loud, visible, but outside the circle of institutional favor. That's what Vogue declared without saying a word. One woman became a royal icon, not just because she wore the crown well, but because she made the crown feel stable again. The other? Still famous, still watched, but no longer trusted with the narrative. In elite fashion, fame can be fleeting. Favor endures. And Catherine? She just inherited both. Catherine gained institutional favor. Meghan kept attention. In elite circles, only one of those truly lasts.